Welcome to another episode of Business Fumbles. We are so happy to have another episode for you, and today's guest is a fitness instructor. And I'm pretty sure he does a lot more. But what we're going to do is we're going to have him introduce himself and tell you out there how you can get a hold of him once you listen to the episode. So, without further ado, please, introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm Coach Simian, and I help people get healthier. I help people feel better. I help people lose weight. I help people build muscle. And ultimately, in order to lose weight and build muscle, they'll go through a process of making healthier decisions. So everybody's got to navigate through that, and everyone's situation looks a little different. But, having me in the passenger seat, make sure that you take the right turns and, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and get there without any speeding tickets or any crashes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, your industry is a really tough industry, because it is the it's the hugest roller coaster that you can get on because you have people that will start it for their New Year's resolution or I have a wedding. I want to, I'm taking a vacation. I want to lose weight or, and then on top of that, which is the old fashioned way and the best way. Now you guys are competing against this plastic surgery.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, let's jump into it. I will be the first to say that I know that your platform is a lot different from a lot of the trainers that I know in Las Vegas. You've set up where you can literally interact with them on a daily basis, which is really, really cool. So, my question to you is first explain what your model is, your fitness model, and then explain why you chose to go that route.
okay. Yeah, I would say the main root of it is accountability. So, a lot of trainers get into, becoming a trainer because they like to work out. And there's excitement in it and it's lots of fun. And, if anybody who's ever worked out before, they felt those endorphins and those hormones that make you feel good after you've done something hard. And most people know how to work out. Most people know what healthy food looks like. But not enough people are holding themselves accountable and not enough people are willing to allow somebody else to hold them accountable. So my baseline is what gets measured gets improved and what gets measured and reported significantly improves. So just by paying attention to what you're eating, by observation alone, you're going to make better decisions. But paying attention to what you're eating and then reporting that to somebody, you're going to make a lot better decisions when you have to tell somebody
Yeah.
you ate pizza 3 times this week or you went out to eat 5 or 6 times this month. You're less likely to let somebody else down knowing that you have to report to
Report
them.
to them. Oh.
It's why companies and corporations hire management because, employees work better when they know they have to report their work.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
accountability.
Yeah. So that's a part of your plan. If they sign up with you, you make them write down or tell you what they eat and everything.
Yeah, so the accountability is a non-negotiable. So,
Okay.
some people want to just say, I just want to work out. I don't want to do no diet stuff. I don't want to, have to check in or anything like that. And that's great. Most of the time, if someone just wants to work out, I'll refer them to another trainer. I know plenty of trainers that are very good at what they do. They're good at
Oh, so
giving
you won't
great
even
workouts.
take them?
No, because if someone's not willing to follow a diet plan, then I'm not willing to work with them. I'm willing to.
Why is that?
Well, it's just because it's so important that you actually have a structure in how you're fueling yourself, because the workouts we're doing, that'll be good, but there should be tailored to the type of diet that you're doing that should be in alignment with your goals. So most people want to work out for more than just feeling good. So whether you want to maintain the health that you've worked so hard to get to, or you want to get healthier, you've got to have some type of structure around the type of fuel you're putting in your body, how much of it you're putting in, the times of the day you're putting it in. So if someone's not willing to, be held accountable to how they fuel themselves, then it's not going to work for me to be their coach, because we're going to be doing all these workouts. We're going to be, lifting all this weight, and then months down the road, they're going to have no progress or stalled progress.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of anyone turning it down simply, so that right there is, very commendable, because I've never had a trainer. Let me think.
Like tell
Yeah, let me think. Because I used to be a workout fanatic.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into that because some things happen. And so they never really said, they would bring it up if I didn't lose a pound or if I didn't lose something. As long as I was losing every week, I didn't have to hear that question.
Right.
So I've never had someone to do that. But I know with you have structured a literal app that you interact with your clients. How does that work?
So I make it very simple. It's like having a personal trainer in your back pocket. So whether you live here in Las Vegas or you live in Texas, Florida, or maybe you travel frequently, having my app on your phone, you'll be able to see exactly what your menu is when it comes to how many carbs you should aim for on a daily basis, how many grams of proteins, fats, and total calorie budget. So, seeing that on a daily basis on a front face, that's going to be something that is easier for us to check in with later and say, okay, I was able to, get this close, or I was able to get, all of it or none of it at all. So there's always some type of metric that you're being held accountable to, and as well as the workouts. So when I say So
is your workouts on the app too?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
So is it videos or is it just listed?
You've got video demonstration of every single workout on the app.
Is this your app that you created, or
so
somebody
this
else's?
Is an app that I pay for, and it's the same software company that the big gyms hire, like EOS, Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, Lifetime. They all hire a company called ABC Fitness. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I don't know if that's not, they're on the back end, but, they're a fitness company, and they handle the POS. They handle customer leads and lists and things like that help a gym run well. They bought out a company called Trainerize, which Trainerize was basically like a white label app where it already had the software in there for you to host your client profiles so that you can keep up with their weight, their weigh-ins, their progress photos. You can keep up with the food they ate. You can plug in and program workouts for them to do, whether they're at the gym or at a hotel, or even they're just like maybe working out in their garage. You can program all those workouts and assign it to a profile. So the app allows you to do that. If you're the trainer or the coach, you pay for that software so that it's built into your own brand. And that's something that they get on your end. What you're going to see is you're going to have your own profile. You're going to see what workouts you have to do. You're going to know exactly how much repetitions to do, how many sets, and you're going to get a video demonstration of how to do it if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah. I know that dealing with you really care about each client that you have. But you also work a regular, like you're a teacher, right? So in between, you have sessions where you set up. How difficult is that for you to manage?
So it's gotten a lot easier as I've kind of like taken a back seat on the teaching role to moving more to like a admin and substitute. So I'll substitute sometimes at the school, if the director needs some help, if, they're needing, just some support on catching up on the program or the curriculum, or they need somebody to fill in and teach and lecture a specific course. But it's been a lot easier because I've kind of stepped back from that being a daily role.
I know that it
that's
was
not my
sort of
everyday
crazy
role anymore. Yeah.
But you have an early start. What's your start time?
So, as early as 6 a.m., that's about, it used to be 5 a.m., but, now I've got a little one that wakes up around 3 a.m., so I'm giving myself a little bit more of a buffer.
Well, that's good because it just seems like with each change in your life, you're learning to adjust your schedule to fit in for that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like I always ask this question, and you probably are not going to have the answer to it, but what's the science behind people just doing it temporarily? Why can't it just always be a part of a person's life to
Yeah.
eat healthier and become healthier? Why is it that it's more easier for them to do it for a specific time period versus to change it in their lives?
I would say this is just in my opinion, what I would say is just having the wrong expectations. Like if you go into it with the idea, like we were talking about earlier, where some people are like, "Hey, I've got a wedding coming up, I've got a birthday coming up,
Yeah.
I've got this or that coming up." Usually they go into it with the wrong approach, and the wrong approach is having a short-term goal. Is saying that, okay, in 2 months, in 3 months, I've got this goal. So everybody creates this finish line, right? So they say in 90 days, in 3 months, I want to lose 20 pounds for my wedding, for my party, for my birthday. But the problem is they're trying to fix a 10-year problem with a 3-month solution. Does that make
Wow,
sense?
I never thought about it that way. But how do you think that you've created somewhat of a science to re program people to not do these short term? You get what
Yes.
I'm saying?
It's boundaries.
Oh, it's boundaries.
It's boundaries. So it's like dating, right? So this is the advice that I would give my daughter. What are your intentions? How long do you plan on, participating, or how long do you plan on doing the work that's required to get to the goal? If they're like, oh, I plan on putting in 3 months of work, then that's a red flag. But if they're like, hey, I'm in it for the long haul, I want to change my lifestyle, that's a green flag. I'm all right. You've got my 100% commitment. You've got my full attention. So it's just setting up that boundary initially and right away. So we want to approach that conflict right away so that you don't have the drama later, right? So if you come in and you're like, hey, do you understand that you want to lose 20 pounds? Ask them, when's the last time you lost 20 pounds? Okay, how long did it take to gain it back? Did you sustain it? Like, find out what has their journey been and how long has it been taking them to lose that weight. And then you can say, okay, this is a problem that you've had for X amount of time, and then show them that they're trying to make a quick fix and let them know, okay, if you're trying to do this in a quick fix, then this ain't
It's
the
not
program
gonna
for
work.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not it.
And it's really not going to work because that's taking a caring attitude. Because
Absolutely.
I know for me, I was always once I got married, I think, and after having children and things like that, your weight fluctuate. But I was always a certain size. I never went, over a certain size. But I was also very active.
Right.
Like I bike ride, I skate, I swim, I did everything. It was so bad. My mom was like, if you join one more thing, promise you, I'm going to choke you. So I was very, very active. And then even coming here, I noticed that the weight would come on, but it was never real bad. Like I would stay, within like 150 pounds. And for me, it wasn't bad. That's where it was. And I was, the heaviest I got was like a size 9. But then after the age creeped in and, I started working out and I got this plan and I was literally trying to work out to be a bodybuilder because I love weights. I have a problem with weights, but I love lifting weights. I don't know why. It just gives me, it just gives me this high. I don't know why. And I don't know, I have a problem with, how do you put it? You know how you have to do everything with
You mean like
control?
Yep.
Okay.
I have no control. It's like if I can lift this heavy, I can do another heavy, and I got to do another heavy. Ooh, if I do this,
Yeah.
there I lack control when it came to that. So I started working out with a trainer, and I was doing really good. I had gotten really, really small, and then when you're right about that time, you get small, and then you start to build that muscle. And I was tiny, then I was building the muscle. And then you take these supplements and all of that stuff. But then without me even realizing it, and this is the funny part, and I tell this story all the time. I went to Walgreens to pick up it was like a mouthwash or something I was trying to get. And so they had the blood pressure machines there, you know. And so I looked at the blood pressure machine and I was like, And I sit down to take my blood pressure. And when I took the blood pressure, it was extremely high. It was like 200 over like 170 or something like that.
That's a lot.
And I literally started laughing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting in this chair. I was like, this thing is broke.
You're about to pass out.
What? Yeah. Like, no, I was laughing because I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, I know my blood pressure. I'm healthy, you know. People in the store is asking me how often do I work out? Because, you know, I'm like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And so I waited a few minutes and the pharmacist saw the numbers and he walked out and he said, can I have you just sit down here for like 5 minutes just to take some deep breaths and I'm going to come back. And I'm looking at him like, why? You know, but I did it. So he came back and he said, can you sit there? And so I did it and I didn't do anything I did. What he said to breathe, it went higher.
Yeah.
So he said, you need to go to a doctor because you're like stroke level or whatever. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with my blood pressure. So I went to the doctor the next day. And then, of course, again, they had to put something under my tongue and I had to go and get my blood pressure down. And then I started having other issues. Yeah. And then to find out that majority of the bodybuilders have the same issue.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, well, why wouldn't they explain that to you? What is causing?
Yeah.
What is causing that? Because you're eating healthy, number one.
Yeah.
You're working out. Sometimes the workouts can be extreme.
Yeah.
You know, but you're working out, you're taking care of your body, and then boom, they tell you got all of these issues. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know, why is that? Why does that happen?
So, I mean, without, you know, me trying to glass mirror into your or crystal ball into what you went through because I wasn't there. But the analogy that I could best put it together is a sports car versus a Toyota Camry, right? So you were pushing your vehicle like a sports car, right? So like you said, hey, if I can get it, I'll get it. If I can lift it, I'll lift it, right?
Yeah.
If my car can go 150 miles, I'll take it 150 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
So when you push on your vehicle and you drive it in that sports mode, right? You lift harder than most people. You lift heavier than most people. You lift more frequently than most people. You're putting wear and tear on your body. What a lot of people don't realize.
Why does that cause?
So exercise and it's strength training is adding stress to the body immediately. Though immediately after you might feel that endorphin because you just did something hard, but you did just do something hard, right? So the biggest thing is recovery. Right? Recovery is how do you maintain that high level of intensity and stress output, right? So it's easier to maintain a Toyota Camry that you only use to drive to work and back and you push it 10 miles a day. And the bill on that vehicle is not too much, not too expensive to rotate the tires and oil change and transmission, things like that. But now that you drive in a Corvette, if you want to put gas in it, it's more expensive. If you want to rotate the tires, it's more expensive. If you want to change the oil, it's more expensive. And if you don't take care of those things, it's an even bigger problem, right? Because the way you utilize the vehicle, you use it for sports mode, and it requires a higher level of recovery. So athletes have to spend a lot more time in the recovery room than they spend on the field.
Oh,
does that make sense?
So your suggestion is if you're going to bodybuild, you have to have a good recovery. And what would you suggest the recovery be?
So it's important that we get on the same page on bodybuilding. So bodybuilding would be like if, let's say, are we talking about someone who's working for a physique and they're trying to get looking like a magazine cover?
Yeah, like
okay, you want to compete. Okay,
yeah.
So
that's then I did. That's what I was doing then.
If we're trying to create that magazine cover look, it's important that we understand that the body has no intentions to do that. So now you're going beyond, and you're passing the threshold of what the body is built to do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Now, see, I've never had anyone explain that.
So that's not technically
because
healthy.
I know when I went to my heart doctor,
Yeah.
you know, he said his words to me was, God created you to plant trees, not pull them out the ground.
Okay. I like that.
You know, and that's all he said.
I like that.
You know, and I just looked at him, you know, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And it bothered me for a few days until I could laugh about it, because then I finally got it. But when he first said it, I'm like, dude, I'm working out, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing, you talking about some pulling trees or whatever, you know, but it took me a while to grasp what he was saying. And basically you're saying the exact same thing, but you're saying it in a language that people can understand.
Yeah.
You know, your body is not intended to do that.
All that.
You're forcing it to do that.
Right.
You know.
Right. So a lot of people have to understand, like, what is your goal? If your goal is to become a bodybuilder or create a physique that's a magazine cover and competitive and compete, you have to understand that that is not healthy. There's no doctor that's going to support that and say, hey, your health markers look amazing.
But why do they do it then if it's not healthy?
Because it's superficial. You know what I mean? It's subjective.
It sells. It sells.
Sex sells, right? It looks good. It looks great. Think about what all the models would do just to become a high-level runway model. They do drugs. They'd starve themselves, bulimia, you know what I mean? Throw up their food. So they do all these unhealthy measures just to create a perception and a look that is desirable. We still do it today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it ain't healthy, but I think where we blur the line in the fitness industry is a lot of people don't realize that bodybuilding isn't healthy. Playing football is not healthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Running full speed head to head with a 200-pound male is not healthy. Boxing isn't healthy, but these people don't do it for their health. They do it for their legacy. They do it because they have something inside of them.
So boxing is not healthy either?
Absolutely. Look at Muhammad Ali.
No, you will ruin your joints doing that.
Absolutely not. So when you do it at a competitive level, now you're doing it for competition. You're doing it to compete. You want to kill your component. You want to be the best. You want to win a trophy by any means necessary. Now you can participate in some boxing classes for cardiovascular health, but when we start stepping in the ring and getting punched 100 times a week, that ain't good for your brain. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing as, like, yeah, you can lift weights for your health. You can do cardio for your health. You can eat healthier foods. But when you start trying to create a drop dead shredded physique, just understand, if you're seeing your six pack, you're malnourished. The body considers that malnourished. The hormones are not happy, right? You're in a catabolic state. Your cortisol levels are very, very high. And the only way to sustain that is if you're adding in exogenous hormones into your body. Does that make sense? So if you try to do it naturally, you're going to feel horrible. So that's why a lot of those bodybuilders start naturally, and then they turn out into using those different performance enhancement hormones to replenish what their body is not doing again. So again, that ain't healthy.
And a lot of people try to look at those washboards, because I know every time I see Tiana Taylor, I'll be like, oh, I want my washboard, but it's not healthy.
So there's a healthy way to do it, and then there's an unhealthy way to do it. But just understand, if anybody's offering a shortcut, telling you that you can look like that in 3 months and 6 months, and you know you've never looked like that, not even in high school, then it's probably not going to be a healthy route. You know, so it's so important that we pay attention to our bodies, and that goes back to my foundation of how I coach. I coach based off of high level accountability, checking in. So if you're taking photos of your body on a weekly basis, if you're weighing yourself, if you're keeping track of how you respond to diet and training, you're going to have a pretty good idea of what the trajectory of your progress is going to look like. And you can stop comparing yourself to what somebody else looks like, because really the only thing you should be focused on is on your plan. You know, so I would say that that's where me kind of going in and making sure that I help them just see, like, you don't have to look like this to be healthy. Most of the people I deal with are not athletes. We're talking about 45, 55, 60-year-olds who just need to drop their blood sugar levels. They need to drop their blood pressure levels. Their doctor said if they don't lose 50 pounds, they're going to get on medication. You know, most of the people I deal with, we don't talk about a six-pack. We don't talk about doing bicep curls or crunches. We talk about making sure you get a certain amount of steps a day, drink a certain amount of water a day, and keep track of what you're eating. If everybody just did that, we'd be good.
But they were saying that the steps, because it used to be 10,000 steps, and they was on the news saying that if you take 5 to 6,000 steps, then you're doing good.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is true because the threshold is being lowered. We're becoming more and more stagnant, more and more sedentary. So 10,000 steps used to be impressive. Now we're noticing that a significant amount of people aren't even getting 5 to 6. More people are working from home. So now we've got to lower the bar. So that's all that happened. We just
Because when I
bar.
work out, I do 30 minutes walking and stuff like that. And by the end of the day, I do have 10,000. Because when you do those small workouts, before you leave the house or before you even get your day started, from that 30 minutes, you've already hit like almost 4,000 steps.
Yeah.
Because I do like 2 miles. That's 4,000 steps.
Yeah.
I'm already halfway there. And then when I get here, you know, I'm walking around. By the time I get home, it is close to that 10,000. So I think the 10,000 is... Yeah, I never. No, I can't do that. You know, that bothers me. You know, but one thing I do want to talk about with you is the surgery industry.
Okay.
How people are going to get these BBLs and what is it? The
Mommy
tummy
makeover.
tucks, mommy makeover, and things like that. And I'm old school. I will say that. I'm older. But I can say this, I have been bigger than what I am now. And I have been where my stomach was like hanging over my pants. And I went from that to a flat stomach from working out. I know this, you know, so my thing is, what can you say to these people that feels like that's the easy way out? Because a lot of them gain the weight right back, right?
Right. Yeah, I would say so. I have nothing against, you know, weight loss surgeries and even weight loss drugs. I mean, we can throw that in the conversation too.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about, you know, Mounjaro, Ozempic, GLP-1s and things like that. I have nothing against them. Most of the time they create a net positive in somebody's life. So if it's a life-saving intervention, absolutely, that's what it was created for, right? You got some people who are morbidly obese. They've got over 200 pounds to lose.
Yeah.
And me trying to tell them to do some sit-ups, burpees, and, you know what I mean, shoulder presses.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all see, what's that one dude, the doctor with the glasses, and, you know, he's on My 400-Pound Life or something like that.
Him.
And these people
And he
are
be so
bedridden,
mean. Yeah.
right? These people, like, they're bedridden. They can't even walk. So a lot of times, you know, those type of life-saving interventions come in, like, okay, a gastric sleeve, let's cut the size of the stomach down, you know, things like that will be helping someone. So I'm all about that. It was created for the right reasons, but like most things, humans mess up and we pervert and we, you know, take advantage of. So for somebody who is, you know, only needs to lose 10 or 20 pounds, but they don't want to work out, they don't want to eat healthy, they don't want to keep track of what they're putting in their body, instead they'd rather just go and get a surgery. Yeah, expect to go ahead and gain it back, because if you never built the habits to get that goal, then you won't have the habits to sustain it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's
I have people all the time tell me, because you see my size, and a lot of the weight that I gained was from the steroids that they put me on, you know, for illnesses and stuff. But I have people that will always say, you know, you should just go get a tummy tuck because, you know, you had your kids and all of that. Or they can do the, where they suck the fat out. What is that?
Lipo.
Yeah. You can do lipo and things like that. But for me, because I know what working out and what it does for you, it's not an option for me. I feel like that's this is me and my opinion, but I feel like that's the lazy way. Yeah. Because I know for a fact that if you do the work, it will shrink. And a lot of people say, well, your skin is loose and all of that. And I never had that experience. I can show you pictures of, you know, when I had my son, we're talking about being at, when they told me I was pregnant with him, I think I was 125. When I had him, I was 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Now, you know, that was a hot mess. But after I had him, that weight didn't come off easy because a lot of it wasn't it wasn't baby weight. It was me just overeating and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But me to get back down to my size, and it took like, I think 6, 7, 8 months, but it was consistent. I walked every day. I did something, and little by little, the weight came off. And just like now, I was 200 and something pounds. I'm down to 180 something pounds.
Nice.
But sometimes in a week, I only lose a pound. It doesn't, I'm not discouraged by it, but I do know that if you're consistent and you're working, you will get there.
Yeah.
I just personally, I feel like these surgeries are just out of control, and people are going under the knife for a reason where they shouldn't have to go.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was going to have her butt done because she wanted a big butt. I literally went and I Googled it, right? Women that work out to get a big butt, and they show you the before pictures and they show you the after picture.
Yeah.
And I showed it to her. And she was like, well, how do you know that's real? Because I know that I've seen people be like so skinny and have no weight. They go in and they start working out, and then all of a sudden they're bigger. And they're not lifting weights, like you say, to be a bodybuilder. They're just focusing on what they want to get bigger, and they're putting the work in.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of these surgeries, everybody's running to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of cases, it has created where you, as a fitness trainer, that make fitness a part of your business and your goal to help other people, I feel like it's affecting that industry tremendously, because people rather have that easy way out.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And the way that it's really affecting is when the trainers and practitioners start jumping on it. When your doctors start doing it, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah.
And we have reached that point where everyone's just kind of taking that quick fix, just to gain that edge. And as I said earlier, you can lose the weight fast by any means necessary, but if you don't develop the habits to sustain the weight loss, you're just going to end up right back where you started.
There. Exactly.
Until the next phase comes out, or the next fad thing, and now you're jumping from one diet to another diet, or one program or one drug to the next drug. And I've dealt with people, and I won't share too much about my clients, but I have dealt with people who have had adverse reactions to doing the stomach sleeve, where now they can't eat anything larger than this until they get full, and now they're resorting to snacking on processed foods that don't have a lot of nutrients in them because it doesn't fill them up. So when they're snacking on these foods that don't have a lot of nutrients, it's because it's the only thing they can eat. If they tried to eat a piece of chicken, 2 ounces of chicken would get them full. So now it's hard for them to meet their nutrient goals to actually be healthy. So people don't understand, you can be malnourished and overweight at the same time, which is what a lot of people are. They're malnourished and overweight. They're eating processed foods through the drive-through. You know what I mean? They're just getting the quick fix. They're on Uber Eats. They're ordering junk food. And you can still Uber Eats healthy food, by the way. But they're not eating foods that are nutrient dense. No, they're eating foods that are calorically dense. And they're like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I barely eat. I eat 1 or 2 meals a day. I'm barely eating.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you go to Cafe Rio, a salad is 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of these ladies have about a 1,500 calorie budget until they start to overspill. So if like one salad and the dressing and everything else you like to put on there is 1,200 calories, you got 300 calories left to spend wisely.
I know on the app that I use, I think it gives me 1,200 calories a day.
Yeah.
But then if I work out, if I do my workout, instead of that 12, I get 1,500 or 1,600.
Yeah, which isn't much.
It adds more calories.
Yeah.
And me doing that, logging the food, that's when I realized that, I didn't eat real bad, but my eating habits was not healthy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of days that I would have my breakfast, and then when I got home, I would have a snack, and my dinner. And when I logged it, it was like, your calorie intake is too low. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And if it's too low, that's hurting you even worse, because you can read on it and you're not going to get to your goal. So it's very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes I make my calories, but a lot of times it'll tell me my calorie intake is too low because I'm eating on the go, number one. And I'll try to make healthier choices. Like if I don't have breakfast at home, I'll go by Starbucks and get the protein box. So I have that. Then, or I'll get like the egg white or something like that they have in it. It's a veggie, type of sandwich.
I think it's
I'll
the
get
wrap.
that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll get that, but me eating that doesn't have a lot of calories, and it doesn't have a lot of nutrition. So then when I go to get to the end of the day, it's like it's too low. And then I look at my protein intake and I was like, man, I didn't really eat anything.
Yeah, no problem.
Very little protein, So it is very, very hard, but I think that it is worth it. I think that, I want you to ask you this question. What do you feel like you can say to the people, that rather do these surgeries than to work out? Like, can you do a comparison to let them know what they're getting versus what they would get if they put in the time,
Right.
and the effort?
Well, I mean, if you do put in the time and the effort, then you have something that you've earned. And most of the time when you work hard to earn something, you're going to sustain it, right? Like you can give your kid all the money you earned in your life, and if he ain't worked a day in his life, he's going to squander it. Right. So most of the time when you work hard to earn something, you will work hard to sustain it. So that it's just simple as that. You can take the shortcut all you want. It's not only is the shortcut actually the long way, right? So most of the time when we try to take the shortcut, you're sitting in traffic, you're like, I'm gonna turn off here, I'm gonna go there. You end up spending an extra 5 more minutes to get to your destination. So the best thing I can say is the shortcut is actually the long way. So the shortcut that you're trying to take is the long way, and the real shortcut is actually doing what you're supposed to do, doing what you said you would do. So when it comes to food and how to overcome that mentality, a lot of people are hunting for their lunch and they're hunting for their dinner. Like, oh, well, I'm gonna get done with this last appointment and then I got to go figure out what I'm gonna eat for dinner. You're already setting yourself up for failure. So just reverse engineer that. Instead, what you should do is plan what you're going to eat. You don't have to be a chef. Like, we live in Las Vegas. There's so many meal prep kitchens. Like, you can
insane.
throw a rock and hit a meal prep kitchen where they cook healthy foods and they'll deliver it to you, or you can come and pick it up.
Is it costly though?
Yeah, there's a cost for convenience.
Yeah.
But the same money you're going to spend at your favorite chicken spot or your favorite pasta place, your favorite restaurant that has full in calories and not full in nutrients, you can spend that same $12 on a healthy bowl. Is it going to taste like Cane's? No. Especially if your palate isn't used to eating nutrient-dense foods that don't have a lot of fat and butter on it. It's going to take some time to adjust.
It takes time.
We need that butter.
Healthier foods. It's going to take some time, and most people can't stick that period of time of eating healthy food. They're just like, oh no, I gotta have flavor in my life if it kills me.
My little brother, he's a workout fanatic. He looks great. And what's funny is you mentioned about the 3-month thing. He was working out nonstop for 2 years, but his body didn't really get that shape and stay that consistency till like a year in. It took for his body to like actually stay that way, that even if he skipped a week or two of working out, it's like his body was used to that shape, and it wasn't like an unhealthy like physique like in a magazine. The thing I was going to say about the meal prep kitchens is, even though it is expensive, like you are paying for the convenience, I think they are a good thing overall, because not only you're spending the same money you would have spent on Cane's on food that's better for you, 2, you can copy all those recipes.
And that's the next step.
That's literally it.
Step.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, I had this much chicken, this much rice, this much
Okay,
veggies.
so I can get with that. But when I did meal prep, how do you deal with this? I got bored.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
supposed
Because
to
the
be
food,
boring.
That's
you
what I was
know,
gonna say.
no,
My brother
because you
got
have
sick
the
of eating.
food and then you eat it the first day, the second day.
Uh-huh.
By the third day, you be like, man, I don't want this. I want something different.
Yeah.
And then I even try to like mix it up and say, okay, I'm gonna have the chicken here, and then over here I'm gonna make, like stir fry like with cabbage or whatever, steak and something, and then my salads. I prepaid it, brought these little containers where you
Yeah.
could put the salads in there, shake it up, and make your own dressing. So it's not. I got bored.
Yeah.
The food just got where
Yeah.
it was like not tasty because it was the same exact thing. How do you get over that hump?
I'm going to say that you don't. The food is supposed to be boring. Like, it shouldn't be a party in your mouth every time you go to lunch or
Well,
every time
why
you go to dinner.
There's healthy food.
It shouldn't be.
It's healthy foods out there.
So if you've got time, and the resources to afford a chef to prepare a hot and ready variety of
No, I
healthy
can't
foods,
afford
right?
Yeah,
So that
and
will
nobody
come,
can.
That'll come with the cost. Your best athletes in the world can afford to have a chef
Yeah.
that will prepare that hot and ready, fresh and healthy food for them on a regular basis. But most of us are so busy on the go to
Yeah.
go that the thing that got you in trouble is the same thing that's going to be your solution. Convenience got you in trouble. The reason why you stopped in the drive-thru is not because you wanted to mess up your diet this week. You went to the drive-thru because you didn't have time, because you
Yeah.
needed something quick, you needed something convenient.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, yes, those highly palatable foods are genetically engineered to keep you locked in, like nicotine and any other drug. That's how they're going to keep you. But also we have to understand that we have such an emotional attachment to food that the best thing you can do is not lean on food for your happiness, for your comfort. People eat when they're stressed, when they're happy,
Yeah.
when they're sad.
Yeah.
Something good happens, you got a promotion, let's go eat. Somebody's birthday, let's go eat. Somebody
Yeah.
died, let's go eat. What I mean?
true.
So
Yeah, that's true.
unfortunately, we
Yeah.
lean on food way, way too much. And I believe that's why fasting has become so popular, because people feel how powerful it is when you starve the flesh and you clear up that brain fog, and you're like, wow, I got so much more work done today. So, but not that fasting should be something that you do on a regular basis. Just to be clear, I don't recommend fasting for dietary purposes, but for spiritual purposes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Fast for the Lord. Wait on
Yeah.
the Lord. Let him give you the next step. Get that clarity, because your
Yeah.
flesh will lead you in the opposite direction. And I'm talking about that flesh because it's the same thing that leads us to lean on food and the entertainment and what we love out of just food. Makes us feel good. It makes us feel comfort. I had a bad day, but at least I'm going to eat something good tonight.
Yeah.
It's true.
And now we forgot that
And
we
then
made these goals.
Yeah, and you're right. Because now you are so right, because look how many people have became millionaires just by showing the world what they eat.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I sit here and I pig out on, seafood, on chicken, and, and it's totally unhealthy, and the funny part about it is my big fat, 500-pound
Yeah.
life, that used to be my favorite show.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to watch it. Every episode, I just wanted to watch it. And one day my husband said, why do you watch that and sit here and scream at the TV? Because I would be screaming like, you just ate a whole box and then you want to know why you still hungry, and it's like, put down the food, but I had to watch it because I love the show and I love the doctor's response.
Oh, yeah.
But from me watching that and watching other people eat, now I get a sickness.
Yeah.
Like, the other day we had what's those Mexican French fries?
The carne asada fries?
Yeah, and they
Okay,
put all
yeah.
of the stuff on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's literally, looking at it made me sick.
Those things are like 3,000 calories.
Yeah.
a day.
But
A plate.
just
It's
looking
ridiculous.
at it,
Yeah.
it's literally made me sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why I'm reacting that way to food now.
Yeah.
It's just certain things, like I can have a burger,
Right.
and I can eat that burger. But if my husband, if I get like just a regular Wendy's burger, but he goes and get like the 3 patties or
Yeah.
whatever,
Oh yeah.
I'm literally sick.
Mhm.
Like, it's like I'm looking at it and it just makes me sick where I can't eat now. Because I don't know why it's
Yeah.
doing that. It just started.
Yeah.
And certain things, if I see it, and it's like, why do you have all of that stuff on there? It
Yeah.
just makes me sick to my stomach.
I mean,
you
you
know.
said it yourself. The seeing that the way that it's been mishandled and mistreated almost conditioned you to be like, when you see an excessive
Yeah,
thing
maybe that's what it
happening
is
on a
because I've
plate,
been
you're like,
watching it.
now it's just too much.
It's too
now
much.
this person
Yeah.
now it's associated with someone who has a real mental disorder.
Yeah.
So when you see 3 patties, you're like, oh no, this
No,
person got a problem.
Yeah.
But a teenager would eat 6 patties because that's fun and exciting and cool.
Yeah, but it literally makes me
Yeah.
sick. Like, I literally couldn't eat my food, and I just felt like if I threw up, I would feel better. And I hadn't even eaten it. It was
Yeah.
just looking at it on the plate. It just literally made me sick.
Yeah.
And so I have to be careful now, even with when we go out. I always choose restaurants where it's not going to give you a large portion.
Right.
You like what's the restaurant over here?
Which one?
I went to it and okay, Big Bear is one.
Yeah.
The portions is like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, why are you bringing this out here? Like, seriously, I
value.
really don't. I really don't get it.
That's
Bang for
America
your
in
buck.
general.
not-
That's
but
America.
See, but to me, that's not even value. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why would you bring me out a pancake that's bigger than 2 people's head at one, and then not bring 1, but you bring 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's the other one up here. We went there and I got the chicken and waffles, and they put it on this stem.
Yeah.
So you have the chicken and waffles on this tower.
Okay.
And then you got
Making me
the
hungry.
syrup.
I know. I'm already like, whoa.
No, and it has the syrup dripping on it.
Yeah, I know what you're
or
talking
something
about.
Like that.
Uh-huh.
I forget, it's right up the street. And we went there, and when they brought it out, everybody was at the table like, oh, that looks so good. And I was like, why? Why? Look at me. Why do you bring this out here? I'm not even going to eat a portion of this.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it so big?
Yeah.
And the waiter, she's like laughing, and she was like, that's just how it comes out. But I was so irritated and mad
Yeah.
about it because why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And of course, everybody had doggy bags
Yeah.
because nobody's going to eat that.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have such an unhealthy society.
Yeah.
And on top of being unhealthy, we don't even use our mental here because we're quicker to go under the knife that can kill us versus just making that change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because look at how many people done died
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
getting those BBLs.
Yeah,
and
I heard
stuff.
about that.
It's,
Huh?
it's not even dying from it. It's like even when they get it and it's successful, they have to deal with medical situations afterwards. A lot of them get fibrosis afterwards, like the scar tissue,
Yeah.
and it takes forever to heal from that. And that's a successful job. Like
Still
that's how
side
it's supposed to
effects.
go. It's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, even if it's successful, they
Even
still,
yeah, they have like scar tissue that they have to like massage out or else it'll get hard and it'll like stay scarred forever for the rest of their life.
And then with the BBLs, they can't sit on their butt for months.
Yeah.
They have to sleep on their stomach. Then they have to carry this pillow around, and it's like,
I had
why are you doing that?
I had an executive working at the hotel that I worked at, and she had done that, and she always comes to eat at the bar every day, right when we like first opened, because it's like, Dad, it's quiet. And for a month, she had to sit with the chair backwards. So she's like on the chair. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
But I don't know why people put themselves
And
through this.
people put themselves to. One time I did a live, and I had a bad day because I was interviewing for a client to hire new people, and all of the people, I'm trying to get these people in, and nobody wants to work. Everybody just wants to. They were like, "Can we just work from home?" And I was just so irritated because I said, "Why do you want to work from home? Explain to me. Why do you want to work? Well, it's more convenient because of my kids. Your kids are in school.
Yeah.
Your kids are in school from 8 to what? 3.
Yeah.
Why do you want to work at home? So I just kept asking the question. And I was like, you want to work at home so that you can do 40% of the work.
Right.
Because you're not going to do 100. You're not going to give them 50. You're not going to give them 80. Yeah. It's going to be 30-40%, number one. Then you're going to run into the kitchen and get your ho-hos and your coffee every single hour on the hour. Yeah. I'm not lying. If I am, please somebody stop me, because I'm not. So that's why you want to work from home. Yeah. You know, and everybody is just so lazy and just want things to come to them easy. Yeah. And these surgeries are just not healthy. Yeah. And then you come out of it, like I said, and I was so angry. I said, then you go and you get your body done, and you get into BBLs and the mommy makeovers. Then you come home looking like a bunch of ants. And of course, it was because of, because your butt doesn't even match your legs. No. None of this stuff match. It's not natural. Yeah. And God didn't intend for you to look like this. No. So I think that it's important to have people like you advocating for, number one, working out. Yeah. Because you work out, like you said, you have those, the endorphins going. Yeah. Or whatever. That's going to help them, and you feel better. Number two, you're not risking your life going under the knife to cut all of this fat out. And then number three, you have, if they work out and they do your program, they're going to have something that they put effort and worked hard for. Yeah. So there's a strong possibility that you won't gain the weight back.
Oh, for sure.
Long as you stay consistent with it. And even if you fall off, and you go back to it, it's going to make it easier. Yeah. Right? Because you built that. Mm-hmm. That's the way I'm looking at it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
So then to ask, then obviously, we know that there's a lot of like easy way outs. You mentioned earlier, do you feel that GLP-1, semaglutide, all that kind of stuff, like Wegovy, that there's still more of a net positive having them for people who are actually in situations that need them?
So when used appropriately for people that need it, absolutely. I mean, these are people that went to school longer than a lot of us, spent lots of time studying how the body would respond to this type of medicine and things like that. Now, yes, there are some long-term side effects that people are dealing with right now, that we don't have enough research developed and published to know what it is, which is why for those who don't need it, should not put themselves at that risk for something short-lived. But I do believe that these things were created to help make life-saving interventions, but also, again, like you said, this is a last resort. I've got pillars to a lifestyle change. Yeah. If someone comes to me and they don't want a lifestyle change, they won't be my client. So because of that, I don't have to deal with a lot of people that want short-term success. So when I say what is that long-term or lifestyle change looks like, it's like, is this person willing to hold themselves accountable and make changes to their diet? Are they willing to hold themselves to a standard to exercising and strength training a certain amount of times a week? Is this person willing to hold themselves accountable and actually step on the scale, put a tape circumference around their waist, take photos of their progress? Is this person willing to pay attention to their blood work and see what areas are moving forward and what areas need to be improved? If that person is willing to do all of those 4 pillars, the last pillar of a weight loss drug or a surgery intervention might not be needed. So by the time you go back to your doctor for 3 months later of doing the things that I just mentioned earlier, and they check your health markers, you might not need that surgery. You might not need that GLP-1. But if you still do, then by all means, make that life-saving intervention.
And to say what he's saying, the guy that did the 500-pound whatever, they had to lose a certain amount before he would even consider. They had to show him that they were willing to put in the work and the effort. He made them do it. So I think they had to lose like 50 pounds or something. Yeah. In some cases, 100 pounds before he would even consider doing the surgery. Right. He made them change their eating and all of that. Yep. And it was funny when they didn't lose, because he would be like, you're pulling my chain. You're just giving me a bunch of excuses. And I would be laughing like, they sure is. They sure is. I saw them. They ate a bucket of chicken.
Well, they say it's all water weight.
Yeah. It's fun. And that's a thing too, for me, I try not to weigh myself a lot because I know that the scale fluctuate. And I always do the measurements, and I use my clothes because even when I had got down where I was a size 3, the scale was still at 150, and they was like, even at the gym, like, wait a minute, why are you weighing so much? And it's like, I don't know, And when they would measure me, everything was moving, but I still, had that weight.
Yeah.
And I was thin. I was like in the size 3,
Yeah.
But so I try, me personally, when I'm trying to be healthy or whatever, I try to stay away from the scale. And sometimes when I weigh myself 1 month, 2 months later, I get on there and I've dropped like, maybe the last time I think I dropped like 8 pounds. And they was like, man, you lost 8 pounds. But it wasn't concerning to me because I know what I was doing. And it was still slow. Because 2 months, that's not even,
Right.
2-3 months, that's nothing. Most people lose 2 or 3 pounds a week, right?
That's a lot. I mean, 2 or 3 pounds a week is a lot. I wouldn't recommend that.
What is it, 1 pound a week?
I would say studies show that a healthy, sustainable weight loss is 1% of your body weight. So if I am 200 pounds, not if I am, I'll be honest, I'm 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So 1% of my body weight is 2 pounds. So I could lose 2 pounds a week up to a certain amount where that would still be healthy.
Right.
But somebody who only weighs 150 pounds, they could lose 1.5 pounds a week, and that would be healthy. A 300-pound person could lose 3 pounds a week, and that would be
yeah.
so 1% of the body weight is what's seen as a healthy and sustainable rate of weight loss up to a period of time.
And that's what I feel like I'm doing is healthy. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just maybe in 2 months' time, it's maybe 4 or 5 pounds. But to me, I know what I'm doing. I know that I changed my eating. I know that I'm doing this little workout and doing different things. So of course my body is going to change. So me personally, I just stay away from the scale because it drives me crazy when I get on there and I lost 4 pounds, and then I get on there the following week and I'm back up 2 pounds. And then people are saying, oh, that's water weight. Like, get out of here. I know how to.
There's some truth
Or
to that.
or that's
some.
muscle.
Yeah.
Muscle weighs more than fat. Like,
It does.
come on. If 5 pounds of muscle and 5 pounds of fat is the same weight,
Right.
Yeah,
that's
but
the same weight.
Yeah, but they don't look the same. You could be
Yeah.
It
smaller.
don't look the same, but it's the same weight.
On the scale.
So you're not
Yes.
going to tell me that it's more muscle.
Yeah.
Because muscle and fat, it weighs the same. It just looks different.
Yeah,
Yes.
distributed different.
It's
Right.
true. It's true.
So
Yeah.
hey, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I ain't falling for the water and the muscle.
I would say
I ain't falling for the banana and the tailpipe.
to clarify that, because earlier you said this industry is a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is.
And when I think of the biggest roller coaster of this industry, I don't think it's the weight loss drugs or the surgeries. It's people stepping on the scale and treating their scale like it's the holy grail. So like you were just saying, like I'm up 2 pounds, I'm down 2 pounds, I'm up another pound. Oh, you know what I mean? So then it creates this punishment and reward cycle in our brain.
Yeah.
So on the week that we lost 3 pounds, you might be feeling like you got a little spending money this weekend, right? And on the week that you gained 3 pounds, now you're like, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So
Yeah.
now that scale is the reason why I say it's the holy grail is because now you're dictating your actions based on
Yes.
the win
Win
or
or the
loss
loss.
of
Yep.
the roller coaster of the scale. So to share with you why I have my clients weigh themselves more frequently, it's to put that mirror up in front of them. If you weighed yourself for a week straight, 7 days straight, you would see those fluctuations, and it would kind of like normalize and say, okay, you know what? It's
okay.
normal for me to fluctuate. Everyone has a certain number of fluctuations they're going to do. Your number might be 2 to 3 pounds a week, but if you were keeping up with it every week, you would know your body better because you're keeping up with it. So now remember that 1% is like, okay, if I'm 150 pounds, I only need to see an average progression of 1.5 pounds weight loss per week. And when I zoom out of my calendar of 12 weeks or 3 months, if I'm seeing 1.5 pound weight loss per week, it doesn't matter if I went up 3 pounds one day. It doesn't matter if I went down 3 pounds another day. It doesn't matter what the roller coaster was. If I can see a trend, then I'm going in the right direction. So I tell people, don't focus on the fluctuations, focus on the trends. But in order to create a trend, you need to do it long enough to have that data and that history.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right?
Okay.
If you just do it for 1 week,
Well, I never
you
told
get
that.
upset.
And I ain't going back to the scale. No.
Right. So if you just have the idea that something's supposed to happen from one time to the next time you do it, I measured this time, and the next time I measure, I better see some progress. Well, if you haven't measured for 2 weeks straight, you might be measuring on a day where your body's just holding more water.
Yeah.
So that is the truthful part of it. Could be water. Or and you might have measured on a day where you were dehydrated. You might have had more salt this day, less salt that day. You might have had a hard, stressful workout and a hard, stressful day that made your body retain inflammation, which is more hydration. So there's so many reasons why your weight can go up or down 2 pounds that we don't focus on the day-to-day fluctuations. We just zoom out and we look at the trend, right? I'll zoom out 12 weeks minimum. I say if you don't have at least 12 weeks of data, then you're not prepared to make a statement of judgment on, I'm doing everything and it's not working. I'm in a plateau.
Okay,
I'm gaining weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might try it. I might.
If I gave you only, like, that would be like if I gave you a month of my books and I asked you to tell me everything about my business, what's happening.
I can't tell you.
1
I need
month of
more.
statements.
Yeah.
I need more.
You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, you got 1 month of statements. What's going down? What do I owe?
I can't.
Yeah.
No.
It wouldn't be
need
fair
more.
to you
Yeah.
as a professional. So
Yeah.
that's why, I tell them, hey, it wouldn't be fair to you to only give me 1 month of effort and expect me to have all the answers to your problems.
Man, that's a good thing because you're really like giving them more. You're giving them more for, in my opinion, their money, because usually trainers say, this is your workout, we do it, boom, and as long as you show up, they're gonna work you out. But you're saying, no, you're gonna take accountability. If you don't want to do this, then I'm not the trainer for you, but here's a list of other trainers. Hey, that's worth having. When you that says to that person that you care, you're investing in them. And a lot of times for trainers, it's just a job.
Right.
And it's not a job for you because you're taking all of these efforts.
The average lifespan of a trainer is about 9 months.
And like in someone's
career
life?
span.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, about 9 months. Yeah. So as they quit as early as 6 months, and they'll probably stay as long as about 16 months.
Wow.
Year and a half or so.
How long have you been doing this now?
11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 11 years now.
That's crazy.
So, I haven't been successful all 11 years, but I've had some ebbs and flows. I've made lots and lots of mistakes, but I have been very fortunate to have access to high level coaching at an early age, where I was in proximity of people who were doing it right. I was around people who were successful, and it made an impression on me then that I'm just now opening up those gifts today and realizing, like, oh, that's what they meant. Like when your mom's been nagging you about stuff and now you own your own place and you're like, maybe I should turn the light off if I'm not in that room. It makes sense. You know what I mean?
But everything makes sense when you're experiencing.
Yeah, so it takes some time,
Okay, I might change it. I might get back on this because at first I was like, no, and you have different people's opinion, and I'm like, I'm not falling for that. No.
Yeah. You got to close that outside noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Shut out the outside
and
noise.
just work on it. But I do believe in, me personally now, I believe in doing everything at a pace that works for you, and not look for, that instant gratifications or, I just feel like that personally.
Yeah. I would say the biggest problem with trainers now is that a lot of them have become order takers.
Oh,
So, like you said, they're not they're just showing up as a job.
Yeah.
So, like
Yeah.
any other job, they're just taking it's an order taker. Like it's your first job. You're 17 years old, you know. So they just want to do whatever you want. I'll do it as long as you pay me. I'll do it. You know what I mean? So once the client has sent the money, they're willing to let the client walk all over them and do everything they want.
they don't want to lose the client.
And
Yeah.
because they don't, so they don't want to lose the clients. But then the thing is, they hired you because they weren't doing it correctly on their own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pleasing them and telling them everything they want to hear and giving them everything they want will only last for so long
Yeah.
until 3 months of them paying you goes by, and they're like, "Hey, I'm not seeing results."
Yep.
You know what I mean? Now the onus is on you because you're the professional that failed
Yep.
to hold them accountable versus the professional that told them everything that was required to succeed day one, reminded them at the end of the week, reminded them again at the end of next week.
Yep.
So now at the end of 3 months, if they chose not to do it, they've got text messages full
Right.
of me blasting them and them ghosting me, not replying or not sending the information. I say, hey, send me a picture of your dinner. You not following through with my request. Now you can say, okay, that trainer's program didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't do
Yeah.
right by me. And it's like, you've got the receipts to show that you were
Yeah.
not compliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
that's
the
a good.
program,
That's a
you know.
good way to look
So-
at it, to document everything, man. Because people will be quick to say that you did a horrible job and not take accountability
Yep.
for what they have done.
It's accountability.
You know, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We have come to an end. We
Yep.
went over
Oh,
again.
yes, we
We're
did.
always over.
Every
We're
time.
always over.
I think we said that last
You know,
4 episodes.
Yes, but we really, and me personally, I am enjoying the conversation because I think that is needed. We all need help on fitness and getting our lives together, and it's good to have someone that really cares about you as the individual and not you as the dollar or their next client or their next, profit or whatever. You're looking at each person individually. So with that said, I want you to tell them how they can reach you to get help. And like you said, you don't have to be in Las Vegas. You guys can be anywhere. So how can they find you, and see some of the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's Simian Coach. I believe it's Simian _Coach. But I'm the only Simian Coach on on Instagram. So you can find me. And then if you want to get in contact or start, getting some help, I offer some free advice. So basically, you can click the link in my bio, and it's going to give you a free download PDF of my cheat codes. So I've got these nutrition and fitness cheat codes. So a lot of the things I talked about on how to actually scale, getting better at making healthier decisions, how to scale, getting better at the gym, getting stronger. A lot of those things are actually going to be in an easy 6-page download that you can just start using on your own and get better results. Even if whether you decide to work with me personally or not, I just offer free advice and free lessons to help people. So
Wow,
you can do it
that's
from the
great.
comfort
Wow,
of your
that's
home.
awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, are you on TikTok and the other ones?
I've been messing with TikTok, but I'll be honest, I'm not.
Everybody-
I must be in the
Everybody
hood.
just said that. We just had a guest
Yeah,
that said
but
they don't know their
I'm just
TikTok
like,
either.
man, it's there was a time when it was connected with Instagram
Uh-huh.
and you would post and it would double post,
Yeah.
and then ever since Trump got mad and took it away from us and gave it back, I haven't gotten my TikTok and Instagram to agree again. So
Oh,
once I
okay.
figure out how to connect those so that I can just
I think
post,
they're selling it
Yeah.
now,
and
so
then
it'll
it
be
can
there.
just
Yeah.
post on the same platform.
Yeah,
But
you can just use
I'm not
Reels
getting
for
on
now.
TikTok.
Just
I
use
got
Reels
too
for
many platforms.
Yeah,
I'm
just
trying
do
to
the
be off
Reels.
my phone right now.
Oh, yeah.
I've been,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been praying for God to help me get off my phone.
Okay.
Another platform is just going to take too much time.
Do you have another way, email or anything that you want to put out there?
So there's my Instagram, there's my Facebook, email. You can email me at info at simiancoach.com. That's also my website you can go to as well, read some reviews of what past clients have had to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So you guys have his information. Do not hesitate to reach out to him. And if you guys need to get healthy, I'm telling you, he is the guy. I've looked at his website. I've seen the results from some of his clients. So I will vouch for him. If you need to get yourself together And don't be hard headed like me, you know. But if you want to get yourself together, please just reach out to him. And for all of you that tune in for this episode and that listen, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to hit either one of us up. We will respond. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. People, how many times do I have to ask you that? Just subscribe, because we're going to give you, you know, the information on being an entrepreneur. Everybody out there, you know, we got millions and millions. I can't even put a number on how many entrepreneurs out there. And if you have a side hustle, that's still an entrepreneur. Okay? Side hustles are entrepreneurs. You want to listen to this podcast because we're giving you the real, and we're giving you the data that you're going to need to succeed. All business owners are not alone. We all make mistakes. We all do things the wrong way until we figure out how the right way is. So each person that sit here, they tell you their story, and what good is a story if it's not shared? Like I said, knowledge, education, you know, experience, wisdom is nothing if it's not shared. So we will share everything on this podcast. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week. And again, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.